Hey, I'm Amy. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today's video was inspired by one of my students who is studying the Schumann fantasy pieces. We are working on the second movement, and I wanted to take a minute to share some of the technical things that we've been talking about and help you figure out how to get around your viola during this section of the movement, some fingerings, some bowings, some musical ideas, and hopefully that will help you play it with ease, but also make some music along the way. So if you like this kind of content, definitely like this video, subscribe to my channel. It really helps me out, and let's get into it. I'm going to talk about the second movement of Fantasy Pieces by Schumann, the middle section, right starting at the repeat, pick up to measure 35. We start out in third position, and you can start up bow or down bow. I prefer to keep all of these eighth notes on the D string, and shift at the start of the slur. It just makes a little bit more musical sense, and it gives you some time and space for shifting. So then, and I do prefer to start in third position. So actually starting this on an up bow is kind of nice, because if you go as it comes, it caters to the crescendo and then the decrescendo. So up bow, make sure you catch the string. And another way that we can do this, so that's up bow. You can kind of stay on the G string. It's a really nice sonority. You could also do that. I kind of like that. I'm a little partial, but it might be too schmarmy for this era of the piece. So moving on, then we have I really like starting this up bow and doing that low D on a down bow, because it helps to emphasize that this is louder than what's coming after. So there, you want to just experiment with bow usage, more bow for louder. Okay, so just a couple effects, make sure it echoes really well. And then so here, fingering wise, some sliding around is okay. All of it all the time is not okay. Pick and choose what you want. And I really like that one. I don't like when I go, that is not attractive, and we're not going for that. So I would not do that one. It is trickier because you're slurring and you're going from a second finger to a second finger. But you could try it. I wouldn't do the B flat on the A string because it sticks out a lot. And it's also a little bit more awkward on the right side. I prefer to choose easy for the right hand and trickier for the left hand. And then just try to hide my shift backwards. Second finger. Okay, and then we get into, this can start so gently. You're already on the A string, you're coming up higher because we've got some fingering things or from some shifting to do. If you just take off the pressure to play loudly and perfectly and just let it be really gentle, then it comes across as this effortless little and to be that's how it comes across. If there was a character word for that, it would be so let's see. And I do like a little up bow here at 43 because then I'm gonna use just the bottom half of my bow so that I'm not going and making the biggest crescendo because the denouement is not for another measure or two. So I'm going to only use the bottom. So I've got now a little lift to the A string. See, I'm too tempted that way, so I have to force myself to use the middle of the bow. You heard my shift, so we would want to hide that, but open. I don't like to shift on the last two. I like to keep them in sets of 3. And then when you shift from the B natural, it's only a half step. And that is great, shifting on half steps. We want to really give a little bit more weight to the and you can mess around with that weight versus speed versus placement of the bow, flat hair, angled hair. And then wherever that leaves me is where I start my bow for the next.
I have a tendency to go a little sharp on that.
So here is what I like to do fingering wise. It's really knowing where the G is when you shift up to it. So D, E, F sharp, G. That's why playing this with the open D string is awesome. So, getting back to this. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. One, two, three, 1, 2, 3 works. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 2. Which I'm a little bit partial to right now because the steps between the G and the G sharp, those half steps are pretty close together. And then I like to just let that go because that pitch, that high B flat, it's going to stay in the ear. So you don't need to go as long as you need to, or as long as the note is written for. You just need to hit it really, really well in tune and follow that tenuto that's actually written there. So we're really coming up to the B flat. The B flat is the peak. So you can imagine like a leaf is falling from a tree. Okay, all of those we're coming down, stepping down a little bit, and then we have that decrescendo. It happens naturally, but it's just a little reminder there. Okay. 4, 2, 3 is nice after that. For me, it's just easy to find that, and I want to use my third finger on the F, so that's my preferred fingering at the moment. Staying in third position or going down to first. If you went down to first, I really don't like that part on the A string. So, let's see. If you went down to first position at the end of measure 45, I would go back into third position on the triplets in measure 46. So, staying in third position looks like this. Or going down looks like this. And you can decide what you want to do after that. So this part, so here, okay, again in sets of 3, every set kind of has its own shift. And that third triplet, measure 47, on beat 3, is the one that you really need to keep track of because it's E flat, whole step, F, F sharp, half step, and then G. And it's G, E flat. Okay, so we want to keep track of where those things are. Okay, so here we have open 1, 2, half step 1, 2, 3. So we're all chromatic here. Nice. So if you played it all with the D string, sound like this. Your third finger should match with the D on the triplet, the third triplet of beat 2. Love it. Just love on it. Make sure that that E flat is really low, and then have in your ear ready, you know exactly where that B flat is. You should be able to sing those notes in the octave, an octave below, wherever. And don't shy away from it like I just did. And then it starts over and you repeat this section. Okay, so now we've had triplets almost, well, for the last 8 bars or however long. So this is really, really bum, 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 bum. You really want to pronounce 8th note instead of triplet, triplet, da, da, dum. Okay, so when we're approaching this bar, in order to make these 8th notes really, really stand out, we've got triplets. You want to make sure that this G doesn't sound like da 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 dum, triplet da. You want it to make da 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 dum, da 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 dum, da 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 dum, da da dum. So, and you could almost make those triplets in measure 49 kind of come a little bit earlier if you wanted to emphasize more of the triplets to make those 8th notes stand out in measure 48. Okay, so coming down from that, let's see if I'm doing fingering right. So down here, so this is on a down bow, down, down, up, and then we're going to do a little retake and an up, up, down, up, so... Make sure that you hold that for the full 3 beats at the end. Okay, and then our tenutos in measure 49. So you faster bow at the beginning, lots of vibrato. That was too accenty. So you can mess around with speed versus weight. A little bit of both. Not too much because you're on the 8th string, so you don't need as much there. Okay, I hope this video was super helpful for you. I wanted to touch on a little bit of style, but mostly the technical aspects of getting around the viola when you're trying to play this and trying to play it musically. So let me know how it goes for you. I hope it went really well, and I'll talk to you soon.